You've done this today and didn't notice. You laughed a little louder around one friend, talked slower around another, changed your posture, your jokes, even your opinions, without deciding to. You're not two-faced. You're not fake. You're running one of the most automatic programs in the human brain, and psychologists have a name for it that most people have never heard. Here's why this should bother you a little. If your personality shifts depending on who's in the room, then who are you when no one's watching? Some people spend years feeling like an imposter, like they don't have a real self, and the truth is stranger and more comforting than that. You're not broken, you're wired this way. And once you see the mechanism, you'll never sit in a room the same way again. In 1999, psychologists Tanya Chartrand and John Bargh ran an experiment. They put people in a room with a stranger, actually a researcher's assistant, who would either shake their foot or rub their face while talking. Within minutes, the real participants started doing the exact same thing. Foot shaking, face rubbing, nobody told them to. Nobody noticed they were doing it. Chartrand and Bargh called this the Chameleon Effect, the unconscious tendency to mimic the postures, gestures, and expressions of the people around us. But here's the strange part. This wasn't random. The people who mimicked the most were also rated as more likable by the person they copied. Your brain isn't just imitating for no reason. It's using imitation as social glue. So, what's actually firing when this happens? Neuroscientists point to something called mirror neurons, brain cells that activate both when you perform an action and when you simply watch someone else perform it. Watch someone yawn, and the same neural circuit lights up as if you yawned yourself. That's why yawns are contagious. That's why you wince when someone stubs their toe on screen. But mirror neurons don't stop at gestures. Psychologists discovered something unexpected. This same mirroring circuitry activates for emotional states and behavioral patterns, not just physical movement, which means when you spend time around someone confident, some part of your brain is quietly rehearsing confidence. Around someone anxious, it rehearses anxiety. You're not just watching people, you're low-key becoming them. This is where most people get it wrong. They think mimicry is just about copying body language. It goes deeper, into your actual mood. Psychologist Elaine Hatfield coined the term emotional contagion to describe how feelings spread between people almost like a virus, through tone of voice, facial expression, and pace of speech. Ever notice how one anxious person in a group chat can make everyone type faster and shorter? Or how one calm person in a crisis can slow an entire room down? That's not coincidence, that's contagion. Your nervous system is constantly syncing itself to the nervous systems around it. And most of the time, you have no idea it's happening. Why would your brain do this automatically instead of asking permission first? Because for most of human history, fitting in wasn't optional. It was survival. Groups that could quickly synchronize, cooperate, and read each other's emotional states outcompeted groups that couldn't. Mimicry builds trust fast. It signals, I'm like you, I'm safe, I'm on your team, all without a single word being spoken. But here's the twist. This ancient survival tool doesn't know the difference between a tribe that keeps you alive and a coworker who drains you. Your brain still runs the same program either way. It just wants belonging. It doesn't check if the group is good for you. Now, here's where it gets personal. Researchers studying long-term relationships and close friendships have found something called personality convergence. People who spend a lot of time together gradually start to shift toward each other's traits, humor style, values, even vocabulary. Married couples' personalities often grow more similar over decades. Best friends start finishing each other's sentences because they've been mirroring each other's thought patterns for years. But psychologists discovered something unexpected here too. This convergence isn't always positive. Spend years around someone chronically negative, and your own baseline optimism can quietly erode. Spend years around someone driven and disciplined, and you often rise without realizing why. You're not just choosing your circle is choosing you back. So, where's the line between healthy social mirroring and losing your identity completely? Psychologists point to something called chronic self-monitoring, when someone mimics so constantly across so many different groups that they lose track of their own baseline personality. This is common in people pleasers, in high-masking individuals, and in anyone who grew up needing to read a room just to feel safe. The tell isn't that you adapt. Everyone adapts. The tell is exhaustion. If you feel drained after switching between different versions of yourself all day, that's not just social fatigue. That's your brain working overtime to keep multiple mimicry programs running at once. So, what do you actually do with this? First, audit your circle. Ask yourself who you become around each person in your life. Confident or small, funny or flat, calm or on edge. That pattern is data, not accident. Second, use mimicry on purpose. Since your brain copies the emotional tone in a room, you can seed a room with calm, curiosity, or warmth just by embodying it first. Others will unconsciously start matching you. This is one of the quiet mechanisms behind why some people seem to make every room better the moment they walk in. Third, protect your baseline. Spend intentional time around the traits you want to keep. Your personality isn't fixed. It's being shaped right now by everyone you let close. So, the next time you catch yourself laughing a certain way or suddenly more anxious after one phone call, that's not randomness. That's mirror neurons, emotional contagion, and thousands of years of evolution running quietly in the background of every conversation you have. You were never one fixed personality. You're a living average of everyone you spend time with. But if that's true, it raises a darker question. What happens when the person shaping you the most is someone who's manipulating you on purpose? That's all for today. See you next time.